Elijah and Elisha. By this time, Elijah had met Elisha, who had become his special companion. Elisha wanted to be God's man for the people after Elijah, so he travelled with Elijah to be his deputy and so learn from him. It's time for Elijah to leave him and go to heaven. God has let Elisha know this, and it has surely made him sad. Elijah tells Elisha he intends to go away on his own, but Elisha is determined to stay with Elijah until it's time for him to go. God sends Elijah to a few places, and each time there are God's prophets there who tell Elisha that his friend is about to leave for good. Elisha keeps telling them he already knows and doesn't want to talk about it. It's obvious that Elijah's departure is a very important occasion in God's eyes, as God has told his special people all about it. Both men come to the River Jordan. Elijah rolls up his cloak and strikes the water with it. At once the river divides and leaves a clear path for the men to pass through. When they've crossed over, Elijah asks Elisha what he can do for him. Elisha wants a double portion of Elijah's spirit. He wants to continue God's work. Elijah replies that this is a difficult thing, but if he sees Elijah when he is taken away, he will be given it. If he doesn't, he won't. Just then, a chariot and horses of fire appear in a whirlwind and scoop up Elijah into the air, and he's gone. But he leaves his cloak behind. Elisha cries out, his friend is gone. He tears his clothes in grief. Then he picks up Elijah's cloak and strikes the Jordan with it. And once again it parts for him to cross back over. He has been granted what he wanted, a double portion of Elijah's spirit to continue Elijah's work for God. The prophets who are watching all this now know that Elisha is God's man. If we time travel many hundreds of years later, we come to the New Testament in the Bible and to the book of John. Here we find the Lord Jesus at the graveside of his friend Lazarus. Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. Nevertheless, Jesus brings him back to life just by calling his name and telling him to come out of the tomb. As you can imagine, the people there were astonished. Do we realize just how wonderful this is for us? We most certainly will not be scooped up into a fiery chariot and taken straight to heaven. But we can count on this. The Lord Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Jesus finishes with a question for us all. Do you believe this?